Now, out there in Beaver, the nice thing is that the days are so short. And I made a video on this. You know, you're only driving like 6 to 8 hours out there, and you're still making, bagging $450 a freaking day. Like that's good money, dude. That's like $60 an hour. This is why we go union. It's less work, less backbreaking for more money, more benefit, right? For your health care, for your pension. And those days where the days are going to come where you're going to break your ass, right? 520, 648-mile run, that Phoenix, Arizona run, we turn that, right? 648 miles. That's a full freaking day. When you have to break your ass those days, it's nice that just on the miles alone, $511 plus the hourly that we make at the terminals adds to it. So you can easily turn that into a $600 day easily. These are the things that I try to help non-union understand. I say this not to flex. I say this to encourage you all. Coming here might not be the option for you, right? We're pretty full. But these are the benefits of getting together with your coworkers and getting organized. This particular hotel today, Best Western, usually one of the best hotels to stay in with this company. It's pretty much the only one we really get to stay in, although there are some choices depending on what area you're operating in. Really nice views you can see here. And we're going to get more into what my experience has been like in these hotels for the last 5 years now. I'll be expressing my likes and dislikes, and those of you with experience like my own and more, I welcome you to comment on what it has been like for you thus far. Mr. By the Mile, how are you all doing? Thank you all for showing up for yet another video again. And the channel is progressing in a way that I have nothing but thanks to all of you and appreciation for being here, because without you, the channel is just not possible. And there are much bigger things here to come. Not only will I be traveling to Russia, but I'm going to be traveling abroad to countries that a lot of Americans, I don't want to say most Americans, but I kind of want to say most Americans, because not most all, but everyone I've talked to about my plans thinks I'm crazy for wanting to go to some of these places, right? Middle East, Russia. People are like, you're nuts. But what they can't come back at me with is why I'm nuts, other than, okay, it's wartime over there, things are going on now. I've already seen through another person's experience as an American what living in Russia is really like, and life there isn't much different than anywhere else that you would travel to that would be deemed unsafe by the average Americans, based on the average American's knowledge about what life is like abroad. Now, of course, if you've been following along for at least the last month or so, or a couple of months, I think, then you know that I'm talking about American Sputnik. He is an Army veteran who moved his entire life from the United States of America to Kazan, Russia. And I was on the phone with him. We've been friends for like the last 4 or 5 years. So I've been able to see what it's really like through another person's experience. Now, you're going to have to abide by the country's laws it is that you're traveling to. So it's always suggested to do some homework. And it's always best if you know somebody from there already. If not, do your homework, do your research, be prepared, and learn a little bit of the language. Как дела, мой брат? Right? Привет, мой брат. Hello, my brother. How are you, my brother? Things like this is important, right? I need. Мне нужно, right? I need. These are all things that you need to have become a part of your vocabulary, no matter what language it is that you learn. Okay, I need help, right? Hello, things like that, pretty basic. And with Russian, there are a lot of different words to get to know, to learn. Now, I, for the most part, can read Russian. I can read it, right? Their alphabet, I can read it. Now, just because I can read one of their signs doesn't mean I know what the word means, but because I can pronounce it usually for the most part correctly, there are many applications that I can use, right? ChatGPT being one of them. But I have the Russian keyboard on there. All I have to do is sound out what it is the sign is saying. I make sure that ChatGPT, or, the voice recognition system, has copied what I am saying down accurately, right? I reference the sign, reference to what I've spoken, what I'm seeing on that computer screen, on the phone screen. Make sure that's correct. Okay, that's what it means. Simple as that, right? Now, I've already been introduced to a community of people, right? Thanks to my buddy Marcelo. I've been introduced to a community of people from Russia, right, and abroad, so that I am prepared when I travel to these countries. I have people, I have friends, I have contacts, right? And that always makes travel to foreign nations a lot safer. Now, I had plans on making Krasnodar one of my stops, and that's in one of the southernmost parts of Russia. And it's not going to be possible anymore because they have it on lockdown. They're actually going through martial law right now. It's just too close to Ukraine. So, as of right now, I'm not going to be able to go there now. There's some time still between now, right, and my trip to Russia. So, it could still be very well possible that I am still able to visit Krasnodar. I mean, I heard it's beautiful, but even now in the wintertime, kind of contemplating maybe just pulling the trigger and going now, because the northern lights over here are just absolutely amazing during the winter. So kind of up in the air, but it's my first experience, and I want to make sure that I'm comfortable, because like my buddy says, the cold there is just something super different from anything we've experienced here in the United States of America. Completely different. It's just this humid cold, right? Now, it's a cold, right, that can't really imagine right now, but from what I hear, it's intense. For those of you who've experienced it, comment below. Now, for the question that I get asked all the time, which hotels do we stay in, and what are the hotel conditions usually like? And the answer to that is it really depends where you're staying. For the most part, I enjoy all of our hotel choices. Well, almost all of them. We get to stay at Best Western, La Quinta, Rodeway Inn, Hilton, Holiday Inn, if I didn't already say that, and that's pretty much it. There's a Wingate that we stay in here in Southern California. I think the only Wingate that we actually stay in is in Beaver, and then the Clarion in Salt Lake City is an awesome hotel. The bar and grill that's right there inside the hotel. Good people, good food, good drinks, good vibes. I usually spend, maybe like 45 minutes there and kind of decompress and then head into my room and go to bed. But most of the time I stay at Best Western and rack up those Best Western points. And I'm able to use those points when I go out with my family we like going to Bishop. We like going to, places in different areas in Arizona, all over the place in California. So there's Best Westerns everywhere. So the points that I rack up, I use those points, and usually we're able to book 3-4 days, for free, no cost to me, the LTL driver, right? So that's kind of one of the perks of being a driver here. So there is a card that we are issued that is called a CLC lodging card, corporate lodging card. And we give that phone number a call. When we find out where we're going to be heading and where we're going to be laying over at, we give this number a call. We let them know when we'll be checking in. They'll ask us, when are you going to be checking out? And we give them all that information and basically just go from there. And sure, sometimes there's some hiccups. Sometimes, these companies get things mixed around and mixed up, but we are paid for all of our inconveniences. And that's one of the things that I really like about being a union employee. There are things outlined in our contract protecting us from those inconveniences. That's the whole point to being union, is seniority, and that you don't get taken advantage of. And one of the perks of being union is, of course, that pension and healthcare that the employee doesn't pay for, but we take care of our freight. And that's the reason why we take care of our freight. We need the company to be profitable so that they can continue to afford that healthcare and that pension. It's if you go with the company recommended hotel, you're gonna have a horrible time. It's just, dude, you're gonna have a horrible time. It's disgusting. Just call that CLC lodging number and use one of the other company approved locations. Now in Beaver, there's only one location, the Wingate by Wyndham, so it's actually not a bad spot. And there's a really really good restaurant that is right next to it. Then there's a Dairy Queen. There's a Burger King on the other side of the freeway. There's a Pilot like 2 miles down the road, north, right, going towards Salt Lake City. So most of the time, all the places that I've stayed, there's always been places to eat. When you're out in Beaver, you can't really DoorDash anything, so you gotta, use the truck and go get something to eat when the time is right. Okay. Now out there in Beaver, the nice thing is that the days are so short, and I made a video on this. You know, you're only driving like 6 to 8 hours out there, and you're still making, bagging $450 a freaking day. Like that's good money, dude. That's like $60 an hour. So that's kind of what I mean in these, some of these thumbnails where you see that I say, that I make that, and that's a low end, $55 an hour. That's the low end for us, right? That's just on the actual hourly that it would come out to if we were being paid hourly. But when you include our benefits and pension, you need to add way more to that. Okay, that's what I try to help people understand about union. Is this is why we go union. It's less work, less backbreaking for more money, more benefit, right? For your healthcare, for your pension. And those days where the days are going to come where you're going to break your ass, right? 520, 648-mile run, that Phoenix, Arizona run, where we turn that, right? 648 miles. That's a full freaking day. That's a hell of a damn run. And, when you have to break your ass those days, it's nice that just on the miles alone, $511 plus the hourly that we make at the terminals adds to it. So you can easily turn that into a $600 day easily. These are the things that I try to help non-union understand. I say this not to flex. I say this to encourage you all. Coming here might not be the option for you, right? We're pretty full. But these are the benefits of getting together with your coworkers and getting organized.